Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Imagination Megapark. And the last episode I finished off the science station and I gave it this beautiful map edge, which a lot of you guys commented on that you liked it a lot. So that makes me really happy because I put hours and hours into it. But all in all, with it being finished, it's now definitely one of my favorite areas of the park. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to finish off the Misery Marsh area. Now, this area is already mostly completed. Most of the area has already been filled out, but I want to make some improvements on a few rides. And there's just a few spots where I still want to build something. There's a few over here, for example. So we will have several more rides, several more decorations. And after that, of course, it will be time to also finish off the map edge for this area. And I have something really cool in mind. Now, before I do any building, let's go name several more mechanics after people who commented on the last Imagination Megapark video. Alright, here you can see the 3 new additions to the mechanic squad. If you also want to become a mechanic in the park, just leave a fun or interesting comment on this video. And we still have spots for several more mechanics for the next video. Alright, the first area that I'm gonna fill up is this little area that we have over here. And I want to make a ride which looks like a spider web with a spider on top. And the ride design is one that I took from one of Astray Life's tutorials. I think he makes great tutorials. Now, I'm not going to exactly follow what he did in his video. Of course, I'm going to give it a bit of my own spin, but it will be based on the ride design that he showed in one of his tutorials. Anyway, let's get started on it. Alright, here's our new spider ride. I tried to make it look like some sort of spider web. I did change the colors a bit after the recording to make it more fit into this area. Now, you can see these swinging vehicles which just run along this circular track which has an angle in it. Now, I did increase the speed a little bit of the ride just to make the swinging animation a little bit nicer. Because I like it better when they're swinging to the outside more. If the speed was lower, they would swing more to the inside. It would be very chaotic. So this is nicer. Oh, also a little animatronic spider here in the middle. All in all, I think it's a really cool way to fill up this area. Now, throughout this area, I marked several spots with some yellow grid. And I found a funny little trick. Well, the trick is pretty well known in my community. But you can actually use this Cyclops ride. Now let's just wait until it watches us. There we go. So this is actually a Dodgems ride, but I turned the ride into the void color. So now you just have this eye that looks like it's spinning around. So it's just in bumper car mode. So it will just go around like this. Now, what I want to do in all these marked spots is just build little towers with several of these eyes that you can see through slots in these little towers. So it looks like there's some monsters peeking at you from inside. I think this trick can look pretty cool. So I'm just going to build several of these towers throughout this area in all these marked spots. And let's see if it works out nicely. Alright, in several spots we now have these creepy eyes in some little ruins. I added quite a few of these, and yeah, I really like the way these look. Easy to miss, but I think it's fun when you spot a few when you're viewing this area. There's several more of these buildings. We can see another 2 eyes over here. There's another building over here with another eye. And I put them in all of these sections of the Misery Marsh. For example, we can also see an eye over here in a little building. And I put another building here. I believe this one also has 2 eyes. But yeah, as I said, pretty easy to miss. But sometimes they will just pop up. Alright, something else which I want to do is to do some work here on the supports. Now for inverted coaster, invert coasters is typically pretty easy to make some custom supports, since these supports are usually already in the middle of on the edge of the tile, I mean, and in the middle. So it's easy to just slap some single rail coaster track against them. Now I don't want to do it for all of these track pieces, but where I can, I think it will look really nice to add some custom support. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to do some work on these bones here right next to the track, because I don't particularly like how these look. Alright, the Bone Rattler now has new custom supports. Now I tried not to overdo it with the supports, so you will mostly see them in areas like these on the lift hill, where I just doubled up some of the track. And in most of the turns you will also find a few custom supports, like over here. I think here it actually looks pretty cool. Also a few over here, and also a few in these turns over here. So yeah, nothing too crazy, but I do think it adds to the looks of this ride. And together, I think these supports make it look really nice. Now I also worked a bit on these bones which we have here over the Virginia rail track. So yeah, there used to be these rib cages in front, which you can see over here, but I decided to replace them with corkscrew coaster or compact inverted coaster track, with some of the track being made invisible, and together those I think make a nice spine to go on these bones. Now I'm going to add one more ride to this area. We can probably fit it somewhere over here, and I've been playing around with the magic carpet ride, which is one of these. And you can actually almost fully make the base invisible. So a ride like that would probably look nice and spooky for this, which would fit really nicely in this area. Alright, the cursed carpet is born. It has appeared here, and I think it looks pretty funny with the base of the ride invisible. So it's just this, let's call it carpet, that's flying around here. Definitely fitting for the Misery Marsh, I think. Now, I think with that, all the rides that I wanted to build have been built in this area. So all that's left to do now is doing the map edge. I've got some pretty cool ideas for this. So yeah, let's just get working on it. Alright, the Misery Marsh area now also has a nice map edge. Now it's not as spectacular as this map edge that I made for the science station, but I think not a single map edge is as spectacular as this one. But I'm still really happy with what I put together here. So what you see here is just a lot of these ruins pieces. Yeah, I did try to make a few levels in it, and on these levels there's also lots of foliage. I also made several holes in the wall where you can see some more of these eyes lurking around. Also added a few of these dragon heads. Now in this lower level I also put some more foliage, and off camera I decided to give some of the trees a little bit of color, just to add a little bit more continuity with the theme that's on top. And finally, here on the bottom part, you can see I put some of these recolored flames in the void color, just to give the bottom part of the map here a very spooky edge. I really like this effect. Yeah, sort of looks like a shadowy flame, and yeah, I think it definitely helps set the mood for this area. I'm really happy with that effect. Now, I recently introduced the mechanic tier on my Patreon channel, and one of my patrons, Tempered Steel, has upgraded to the mechanic tier. So I asked him what color he wanted for his entertainer name, and Tempered Steel answered that he would like the color pale gold. He didn't actually know what the color looked like, but I think it's a good choice. I quite like this color, and you will now join the other patrons of the mechanic tier with a nice colored name. So yeah, thanks a lot for the support. It really helps out my channel, and it definitely motivates me to keep making these videos. And I hope you enjoy your colored name. And I hope you still enjoy your spot in the park. Looks like you're walking around here at the bottom of the black hole. And if you're watching this video, you also want to support my channel, you can find a link to my Patreon channel in the video description. Alright, with that, the Misery Marsh area is now completed, so I think it will be fun to take a tour through the entire area. Right, this is where the entrance to the Misery Marsh is. I really like this entrance. Right next to the entrance we have the haunted wheel. It's sort of like a Ferris wheel that uses multi-dimension coaster vehicles and track, and it actually goes back and forth several times, and it also changes speed several times. It's a pretty fun ride to watch. Now over here we have the big coaster of the area, which is the Bone Rattler, which I gave custom supports today. It's one of these compact inverted coasters. Now I don't really build them very often, but I think it looks really nice here. And yeah, this color scheme, I think it definitely makes it look like it's made out of bones. Now, over here we have a little underground haunted house, called it Buried House. Just a simple trick. Now then over here, a little food and drink stall area. And then over here we have this powered Virginia reel. So these vehicles actually also have an invisible vehicle in front which drags them forward throughout the track. So it's not your standard Virginia reel. But I do think it works pretty well. And it travels through this landscape with lots of different scenery objects. So here we have these cauldrons with fire emanating out of them. Over here we have these carnivorous plants. Lots of ruins here, also with some statues. Some skulls here. Also at some points these vehicles actually change direction, so they head backwards in some parts. And here we have all these bones over the track. I think it's a pretty fun ride. Now over here we move over to an area with a different color. This is the cyan colored area. So over here we have this water coaster. So it actually goes up the lift hill here and goes partially up the second lift hill, then it gets released backwards. So it has a backwards section here. And then over here it reverses direction again, after which it ends up in this splash here. And finally there's this big vertical lift. And then there's a second splash where it loses a little bit of speed. And then finally here's the other big splash. So yeah, I think it's a pretty nice looking ride. And definitely does some unusual shenanigans here. Now over here there's a few smaller rides. Here's the magic carpet that I added today. Here's our jet ski ride. It's a simple shoestring. And over here there's this little swan carousel. Really nothing special. And over here there's a single rail coaster that travels under and through some of these routes and through this jungly area. And I'm pretty fond of this transfer track here at the end, which looks like it has these scissor lifts so the track could move downwards. Now over here we have a looping swinging ship. It's a pretty fun shoestring. I should probably also show this big monument here in the middle. It's one of these ancient temples, and it actually serves as the station for this air balloon ride. Definitely a nice eye catcher here in this area. Now finally over here there's this purple, a dark purple area, which is actually full of small rides. So over here we have this catapult coaster, always a fun shoestring to do. Over here there's this Star Flyer ride, which I called Doom Flyer. I love the gradient on this ride. Over here we have this River Styx ride. I believe it's Samperla Demolition Derby. I believe that's what the ride is normally called. Now here we have a 3D cinema, which I decorated a bit. There's also several tentacles. And you can see more of these tentacles throughout the area. Now here's the spider ride that I added today. Also a fun little shoestring. Over here there's this ride where riders get launched in between these two poles, vertically upwards. So you'll have to imagine there's some cables attached to this vehicle, which pull them upwards. Now over here we have a reverser roller coaster. So it actually has two chain lifts, and also of course has some reversing sections. So there's some normal reversing sections, which you will always see on this type of coaster, but there's also some more unusual ones where these vehicles go partially up this lift hill and then get released backwards. Now in these vehicles stay quite close together in some portions of the track, and some parts they do well quite nicely, especially like this part where they both rotate in a different direction. Now over here is a ride which is called the Ancient Ritual. It's basically a space rings ride where the space rings are actually invisible, so it looks like the guests are doing some of these weird maneuvers right here. And after that they jump into the sacrificial pit. But don't worry, they pop out of the temple here again, reborn. Alright, and finally there's a ride over here. It's a family boomerang. So the vehicles get retracted over here, and then they travel all throughout this track here. And finally, the track looks like it will dip the guests down into this pit here, but it will stop right before the tipping point, so it then returns backward. These brakes are definitely essential, or else with a full train it would just go over the edge. And finally there's this crooked house here which I hid inside this temple. It's called the Temple of Illusion, and I believe that's the final ride of this area. I think I got all of them. Maybe I forgot one or two. There's quite a few rides here. But yeah, with that the Misery Marsh area is now completed. It was a really fun area to work on. I love working in really outlandish themes, and this is definitely one of them. Now, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed watching me build, please consider giving this video a like. It would really help out my channel, and I would love to hear in the comment which one of these rides is your favorite. And if you want to see more of these videos, you can always subscribe to my channel. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.